easily and effortlessly.
Hello.
Hello! Time for Thought Shifting Thursday with me and my beloved. So, today we're talking about asking for what we want, right? So I think I'll start because the idea came to me. I was really, when I was first thinking about this, I was thinking about, in coaching, and I posted this in our coaching network as well, which has over 16,000 members now on Facebook.
Wow, congratulations.
And so, in coaching, my experience, both as a client and as a coach, is that what happens most often with people is people come into coaching, and whatever the coach's style is or the way that that coach tends to work, then is what the client kind of runs with. And I experienced this recently with my business coach, where he was coaching me in a way that didn't really jive that well, and so kind of went along with it for a while, and then said to him, this isn't quite working. And so then it, he adjusted, and we're more working in a more productive way now. And then on the other side of it, I was coaching a client once, and she was going through a challenge, and so I went kind of right to looking at strategies for solution. And she said, if we're going to work together regularly, I need time to unpack, right, before we get to solutions. So it not only helped me...
She asked you what you wanted.
Exactly.
What you needed.
It not only helped me to serve her better, but helped me to with all of my clients, to really assess, about spaciousness and timing, and is this the right timing for this client? And to even ask more, is the way I'm coaching you helpful, right? So asking for what we want. So how does this affect your life? Either coaching, you've had a coach for many years, or in any area.
In any area of my life. Well, when I was coaching, I had a coach for 7-8 years, same
Right.
coach.
Someone who went through my coaching certification program.
Yes.
Became your coach for 7 years.
Meredith, yes. And
Shout out to Meredith Bowerman.
we always worked together. We fed each other. It wasn't just me being a student and she's being this greater person, and I'm gonna have to just listen to her. I always said what I needed, or what was working, or what, and in your coaching program, part of the deal is you have an agenda, or things that you need to work on,
Action steps.
action steps, and then as soon as you start talking to your coach, well, how did you do with these items that you were going to work on? Sometimes I would do it, and sometimes I couldn't get to it, or whatever. And then whether it was something that I wanted to work on, I would put it back in my list, or I would get rid of it because it didn't serve me. So we worked together in a personal, not with a coach or anything.
You're the master. He's the master at asking for what she wants. Better than me at asking.
But you know what I always listen to is my gut, or if it doesn't feel right, if something is bugging me, there's something there, and either I have to get rid of it, change it, or ask for what I want.
And there is a difference between asking and demanding. But that's a whole nother topic.
Well, how is the other person supposed to know what you want if you don't ask for what you want?
And so many people, it a lot of it is just personality and style, right? But there's so many people who don't ask for what they want.
We grow up that way. Children don't be quiet.
Right.
Try not to bother anybody. Try not to
rock the boat.
And then and with your husbands and your children and people just in a community, you don't want to seem like, oh, it's all about you, But as a grown woman, it's all about me. Most of the time.
I was thinking, just reflecting on all the different areas where we could ask for what we want. I don't remember exactly what the statistic is, but it's a very high percentage of people who get raises in the corporate world or any business are people who ask for raises, beyond the normal, cost of living increase or whatever.
It never occurred to me that I could go to my boss and say, hey. I was grateful that they gave me a raise, and I was happy with it. But maybe I would.
Well, you were making kind of the top of your salary range, and
back then, yes.
And your job got shipped out to India, so
yes.
you don't want to ask for too much either.
Yes.
Overprice yourself.
That's
but
right.
that would have happened either way, because that was just the direction the company was going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about with not only coaching, but excuse me, with medical professionals or whatever. It's like I was talking with a client yesterday who was saying every doctor I see, they just want to get me in and out as fast as possible. It's like they don't want to have a conversation even.
It's rare.
And he even forgot about the fact that he already had surgery for this particular thing, right? Not from the same doctor, but the doctor knew that and, wasn't even cognizant of it, right? So just being clear and what I said to him is I don't experience that with my doctors, right? So he's looking at making a switch. But asking, demanding is a good thing in some cases.
Yes,
it's appropriate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting paid. Unfortunately, doctors aren't paid as well as they used to be, and that's part of why they're rushing, right? And maybe that, and just the amount of patients compared to doctors right now. I mean, our healthcare system is, I wouldn't say broken, but it's getting close to it, right? Something's got to change. But the point we're making here today is to ask for, if not demand, the service that you deserve for the money you're paying or the money that the insurance paying that you're paying the insurance for, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So, relationship. Well, this is the thing I say to clients all the time, is that the key to healthy...
It's a give and take. It's a give and take.
Right. The key to a healthy relationship, the most important thing I have found, is A, accepting my beloved the way she is, and B, asking for what I want consistently. And that's...
You're very good about doing that. And if you wouldn't, I don't know where our relationship would be. Really.
Which side of that coin are you talking about? The asking for what I want or the accepting you the way you are?
Both. Both.
Right. It's a both and, right?
Yes.
Because if I am asking for what I want and it's conditional, like I'm not going to love you completely unless you change or do things the way I want you to do them, that ain't going to work. Because what everybody wants more than anything is to be loved unconditionally. And so if my love is conditional on you being a certain way, you're never going to want to be that way, because you can't get unconditional love if you have to change
who I am
to get my love.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And on the other side of that, if I'm unconditionally loving my partner but not asking for what I want, guess what? I'm not going to get what I want.
Yes.
But if I'm doing the both and, hello, Foxy Brown. Hello, Pamela. Hello, OMKY. Hello, Naomi. Thanks for joining us, everyone. But if I'm giving unconditional love, then my partner is most likely going to want to give me what I want, because I'm offering the greatest gift that anyone can receive, which is unconditional love. So what I have experienced, and I've learned this the hard way through my many adult relationships, and I think finally it arrived at a place where I'm pretty good at it most of the time. Not perfect, but oh my, Toby, come here. We don't bark during Thought Shifting Thursdays, do we? No, we bark whenever we want. You want to come say hi?
We try not to.
So I'll make my point, then I'll let you say hi to Toby. Toby wants to come up here. I lost my train of thought now.
Oh, here it is.
Well, just to say again that unconditional love is what we all want more than anything.
But
So,
ask for what you want.
yes, consistently.
Consistently. If that person isn't listening to you, you might have to raise your voice a little bit.
A little bit.
You might have to write it down. You know, just keep at it until that person gets it, because we will get it. Oh, shit! I've been doing something wrong here. This person doesn't like this. She wants it, or he wants something different.
Right.
I can do that.
And part of unconditional love, though, is unconditional means not being attached to the result, right? So I can consistently ask, and even if I don't get it, I can be content with that, because what I realized in our relationship early on is, if you weren't as direct and in your face as you can be, more earlier on in a relationship than now. I think you've mellowed and evolved, as we all do. I realized that I got to accept the whole package, right? If you weren't that way, if you weren't direct and in your face, then you also wouldn't be as spontaneous and wouldn't have the laugh that everyone loves, and wouldn't just be as fun to be around, right?
Right.
And so, if I can't accept it, I gotta accept it all.
Yes.
Because I don't get one without the other, right?
Right.
And so, but by consistently asking for what I want, then I can maximize the things that really bring me joy, and minimize the things that piss me off. That's the thing about relationship, is the things that we're attracted. We attract on a soul level. Likes attract on a soul level, opposites attract on a personality level. So the ideal relationship is one that has similar values and yet different personality traits, right? Because we're attracted to someone who's the opposite or different, because we want to be more like that. We want to learn what we don't naturally have.
Yes.
Right? So, I don't know. I think there's something else I was going to say about that, but I forgot it.
It made me think about.
Let me finish.
Yes.
So the things that attract us to the other person that are different are also the things that drive us crazy, right? Especially when they're magnified. So the things that I love about you, that when you're, being vivacious and fun and all that, I love that. But the directness, sometimes I'll embrace it, and sometimes it will bug me. And the more stressed we are, the more our natural inclinations come out in a way that is obnoxious to other people, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's just true of all of us.
I was going to say, not just in a love relationship, but I'm having, there's a lot with your siblings, with family, with your first family, and how to communicate what you want and what you need as a grown-up. As a child, your older sisters or siblings are like parents to you, and so you're supposed to do what they tell you, and they know what they're doing, and there's a ladder that you have to follow. But as an adult, I'm not going to put up with any shit from my sisters, because I'm not a child anymore, and so that's the deal with that is. I am asking and I'm still not 100% talking to my older sister, because she still seems to treat me, but still sees me like
no matter how much you
a
ask.
6-year-old, a 12-year-old, whatever it is, the age that she has me under,
So here's the question that I want to put forth to our viewers, and we can answer it as well, is what are you not asking for that... what are you not getting that you aren't asking for, that you might possibly get if you do ask for it? And put in the comments, either if you're watching live or later on, And I'm going to read this quote. It's also interesting that, because I thought about this topic even before this quote came in from Mike Dooley, the Daily Tut quotes, or notes from the universe. And so he says, Patrick, has it occurred to you that you could ask for more? Not just more than what you now have, but more than you're now asking for, right? So that's an extension of this question.
Yes.
Is what is more than what you even think that is possible,
right,
that you could be asking for.
You're in a little bubble, and that's what you think of yourself. This is
Right.
all that I am ever going to get. But the universe is so vast; it's just open for grabs.
Right. Gay Hendricks says,
Why stay in
calls
that
it
bubble? Yes.
our ceiling, right, on prosperity, right? Everyone has a ceiling about what we think is
Yes.
possible or reasonable, or I might think possibly could have millions of dollars, but what am I really willing to receive? What do I think is doable based on my, our business, based on self-worth, based on so many areas. And then it's just, and we're not going to go from thinking that I deserve to have 3 million assets to,
100 million.
2 billion in assets, right? So
a
it's
private plane, like
it's a-
you are.
that was funny watching that. But just raising that ceiling a little bit at a time. So what can you ask for that's maybe more than you even think is possible or what you deserve? But is still realistically possible. Hello back. Who was that? Foxy Brown, my good friend. All right, I think that's about it for today,
Yes.
yeah?
Ask for what you want.
Ask for what you want.
Yes.
All right, and you deserve it. All right,
Yes.
love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Is this working, our touch? Oh,
Yes.
it's working now.